Tunnel Rat is a new play by Neil Cole, who's an Australian playwright. It involves a certain gentleman, a real-life person named Ronnie Giles, who was a tunnel rat in Vietnam. And the tunnel rats were a very elite group of soldiers in Vietnam. The Viet Cong had a very intricate network of tunnels throughout most of Vietnam, approximately 40,000 kilometers of tunnel around the areas of Chi Cha and Cu Chi. And the Viet Cong would use that to hide out in, to ambush soldiers. And it was the tunnel rat's job to actually go into the tunnels, usually head first, armed only with a flashlight and a gun. And it was their job to flush out any Viet Cong or gather intelligence or see what they could find. So it was a very elite group of people. They had to be certainly very short. The tunnels themselves were very, very small, so the soldiers themselves had to be quite small. So there was only a certain number, a certain kind of soldier that could do it. Well, Ronnie ended up in Vietnam. He was 17 years old, and he was running with kind of a rough group of kids, other teenagers, and he was asked to be a lookout for a group of kind of teenage burglars that were burglarizing a house, I believe. And it was his job as lookout to alert them, but of course he was too short to see over the fence to see the police coming. So by the time he was able to alert the others that they were coming, they didn't have a chance to go back and get him. So he was the only one that the police actually caught, and so consequently he was the one that got in trouble for it. And so during his trial for the judge, he was either given the option to spend 2 months in jail or enlist in the army. And being a 17-year-old, he didn't really understand the difference, and it was really him not wanting to carry the stigma of going to jail. So instead he opted to go into the army, and it pretty much changed his life from then on out.
Ronnie is a very special kind of soldier. Because it just, to do what he had to do takes a type of courage and just inner strength, if you want to put it that way, that I think most people would find kind of difficult to comprehend, which really makes his story that much more rich and that much more compelling. Because, you know, as we've talked about many times, this is not a war play. This is not an anti-war play. This is not an anti-Vietnam play. It's a story of a man and his descent into something really, really difficult, and his kind of rising up out of that with his dignity intact and with his real genuine kind of patriotism intact. A role like this, I think, really takes a lot of study. We all had the advantage of having our scripts for this particular play a couple of months in advance before we sat down to do our first rehearsals, and so I felt like I had the advantage to study the script and to find the moments where the nuggets of gold, for the genuineness and the truth and the honesty in all this, so that what is physically demanding and what is emotionally demanding can honestly and truthfully come across.
I play Lucy in the show, and she is Ronnie's psychiatrist, but she is also a figment in Ronnie's imagination about everything that he's trying to deal with. He has post-traumatic stress disorder, and he is dealing with having killed a woman in the Cu Chi tunnels in Vietnam. And he's having a very hard time separating himself from that. He and I both have hang-ups about things that we can't change about ourselves, inherent things that will never change. You have to come to grips with. He is a short guy, and the trauma that he suffered in the war has nothing to do with his being short, but it would be an easy answer if that were the case. And my character is Jewish, and she deals with what her family went through. Her family came over in 1932, and the pressures that they have about being Jewish and being successful and carrying on and being strong, and these are things that you have to deal with they never go away. There's no easy answer for it. So. Neil has a great sense of humor. The show has a great sense of humor, and there are some great jokes. There are some great moments, heartfelt moments, but funny moments too. There's a dance routine that we've been practicing forever, so it should be really good, I hope, you know. And it's going to be really entertaining and really moving, I think. And it's a great pillar of what that era is about, and I think there are a lot of very complex issues in the show that everybody can agree with, which is nice.
I play Liron. She is the Vietnamese soldier that Ronnie killed in the tunnel, and in the play, Ronnie never actually got to know Liron in real life. So in the play, the character is pretty much entirely made up in his head. So. She's someone that he can't get rid of, and he just has to deal with her in order to deal with his past. Yeah, basically the whole play is one big flashback, I guess you could say that. There's several moments throughout where there's a repetition of a specific incident that is haunting Ronnie, and so each time it occurs, it has a different reaction, and it forces a different problem to come about. You know, the subject matter is familiar territory. You know, as Americans, it's the Vietnam War has a lot of I guess symbolism to it, and it's very much part of the mentality. So it's kind of a familiar story with a new take on it.
Ostensibly, it seems to be a play about one man and his dealings with post-traumatic stress disorder, but really it's about so many other things. It's about anyone dealing with severe grief and trauma, someone trying to find their place in the world, someone trying to find out where they fit in, what makes them special in this world. It has to do with dealing with the past. It has to do with looking to the future. And while certainly a lot of people who were involved in Vietnam or even involved in the military will bring a lot away from this play, I think anyone would bring a lot from this play, because everyone at some time in their life has suffered a trauma or something very damaging to themselves from a mental point of view. And it's about how people can deal with that, and how even serious trauma, you can deal with it. You might not forget it, but you can deal with it, and you can learn to live with it. You can learn to live your life every day, even with all of the other things that may have happened to you. I really hope everyone comes and sees the show. It's a wonderful play. It's, again, the American premiere, and we're very, very happy to share it with everybody.